Thing of the week, thing of the week, it's your ink thing of the week. Yeah. Hello there. So I'm filming this right at the end of 2023. I'll be releasing the video in early 2024. But I'm taking a moment to reflect and to think back on what's been a pretty amazing year for a channel that didn't even exist when the year began. And so before I go into any type of detail around that, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to all the people who have viewed and subscribed and posted comments on my channel. I've been very appreciative of that support and thankful for the engagement that folks have had with the channel. It's been an amazing year, and that support really has carried the channel through and made this a lot of fun. So I just wanted to say in a toast to thank you very much for your support in 2023. It's very appreciated, and this is to you. Okay, putting that aside, I wanted to go a little bit into some of the statistics for the channel. You know, I've been a YouTube viewer for many years, many more years than I've been a creator. And one of the things I've appreciated on a number of the channels that I follow is when the creator basically shares some of the information about how the channel's performing and the revenue gained and that sort of thing. So I am paying that forward, and I'm going to go ahead and share some statistics about the channel that I think you might find interesting. So let's take a look. All right, so let's start looking at some of those stats. And here's kind of the basic one, which is viewers. This is the number of viewers, and this is for the entire year. So the channel began in April, so you can see on the graph that there's no activity until the beginning of April, and then for a couple months, we start getting a little bit of traction. It took almost, well, over 2 months, actually, to hit 100 subscribers in those early days. So it was quite an inauspicious beginning to the channel. But then there's this huge spike that you see on the graph, followed by another spike that's not as tall but lasted longer, and then a final spike to end the year. So what were those things? Well, the first spike, which was really interesting, was my reviews of the Tab Mini C. That was a very hot product that came out at the end of June, and these videos were released end of June, early July. What's unique about that is that I was actually one of the very first to release review videos on that particular device, something that wouldn't happen again for the rest of the year on any of the other devices that I reviewed. Just an odd twist of fate, I suppose, that I was able to get my device and do reviews and get it out there before most other people did. So that did cause a lot of incoming traffic, and that also increased the number of subscribers as well. In fact, if you swapped out this graph with watch time or subscribers, the patterns are almost identical. So I'm only sharing this one graph because, frankly, the other ones look pretty much the same. The second big bump that happened toward the October timeframe is around the Note Air 3C. And everyone knew going in that was going to be a major device. There was going to be a lot of interest in it. And that turned out to be true for my channel as well. And then finally, toward the end of the year, the last spike that you see is around the Supernote Nomad. So 3 great devices that drove a lot of the spikes in traffic and increased the popularity of the channel. So that's pretty cool to follow. That culminated in mid-December of hitting the 1,000 subscriber mark. And what's unique about that is that's the point where you can start to monetize. And my expectations, and this was based on what YouTube was saying, was that I would apply for monetization. It would take roughly a month or so, and then we would go from there, and then who knows what would happen. But as it turns out, it only took actually a day or two to actually go through that entire process. It was incredibly quick, and I've actually started monetizing really over the last 2 weeks or so. So this is a graph that shows the results of that. You know, when my first income came in, and this is, you can see that just slight movement above the bottom of the graph. I initially made 30 cents on my first 2 days. I remember being very underwhelmed by that. I never expected to make much money from this. I've known from other creators what they make. And I just never expected, to make a profit, frankly. This is a labor of love. It's a hobby of mine to do this channel. And I expected that to continue. I was just hoping for some income that would help kind of cut into the expenses. And, 30 cents is not going to do that. So I was quite disappointed. But what happened is that initially the revenue was coming in from people who were viewing my channel, who were YouTube subscribers like I am. And I was getting a small bit of income from there. And it wasn't until a few days in to the monetization that I started getting revenue for ads that run during the videos. And by the way, I have no idea what ads run during the videos. I have no control over that, and I have no idea what you're seeing. If you're watching ads when you're watching my videos, I just get a cut of that now that I'm monetized, and this is what I'm getting. The numbers are a bit high right now because we've got the Nomad, and that's drawing a lot of attention. I don't expect that to be the norm. I'm hoping next year to average maybe $4 a day throughout the course of the year, and that should get me somewhere between 1,000 to 1,500 of income before taxes, and hopefully that will equal money when it's all said and done to purchase one or two more devices to review that I wouldn't otherwise have been able to purchase. So that's the benefit of monetization for me. I'm just going to plow it right back into the channel, and I'm expecting, as I did in 2023, to spend a lot more money than I take in. But it's great to monetize, and it's great to see the channel expand. The next phase, and who knows if this will ever happen or if it does when, is I am hoping to start to receive items from manufacturers for review. I would definitely be willing to review as long as there were no restrictions on how I can review those devices, other than, of course, the release of those videos. But I think I'm far from that, so I'll be paying out of pocket for quite a while. Let's move past the graph charts and take a look at the videos that made the most impact, and they're not particularly surprising. The top one was the Tab Mini C. In fact, that occupies the top two slots with two separate videos. And the Note Air 3C occupied the next two, and the Super Note finally came in fifth. So those were my top videos of the year. In terms of where my viewers are coming from, that's very interesting, and they're really coming all over the world. As you can see by this chart, the United States is the plurality of folks that are watching my videos, but they're far from a majority. 3 out of 4 people are not from America. And if you can see below the 5th place spot, you've got France there at 2.2%. It disaggregates very quickly, and indeed, there's countries all over the world that are watching these videos. Just to expand on that a bit more, here's a further breakdown of the top 6th through 15th countries, and you can see the viewership from that group there. And then finally, you can also break this down by cities, which is kind of fun. And we can see the top city is London, but there are cities all over the world represented just in this top 10 list, let alone the cities that are represented beyond that. So kind of interesting stats I thought were worth sharing. Another thing that I think is kind of worth taking a look at is what system are people using to watch videos? And this is basically the types of devices on this chart that people use to watch my videos. And then if you dig down a little bit further into the operating system, here are the top operating systems that people have used to watch the videos as well. Anyway, those were some of the more interesting graphs and charts as I kind of trolled through the very massive troves of data that YouTube provides you in the studio within their application that I thought was interesting and worth sharing. And if you have any questions about any of that, as always, I'm happy to answer those. But most importantly, as we look back on 2023, I think it was a really successful year. We just started the channel and never imagined hitting 1,000 before the end of the year. I thought it would actually take a year to get there, if I got there at all. So to get there by mid-December was a huge surprise and a happy surprise. And again, I want to thank everybody for that. Looking ahead in 2024, as long as I'm enjoying making videos and I feel like I'm being helpful to other people in doing so, I'm going to keep going. So my plans are to keep going strong in 2024. But I'm going to hold back on talking a little bit more of specifics about what might be down the pipe, because I'm going to have another video in a few days where I'm going to take a look at the future and what I think may be coming as it relates to e-ink and particularly around note-taking. So that should be a fun video, and that will come in a few days. But in the meantime, just wanted to reflect a bit on this past year, a successful year, and a successful year, mainly thanks to you. So again, thank you. All right, I hope you guys have a great year, and I'll see you next time.